Okay. We're good.
I'd like to call the October Williamson County Commission meeting to order. First item of business is our invocation and pledge. The invocation will be by Commissioner Brian Bethard, and the pledge will be led by Doug Langston. Please stand.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and for all your many blessings. Thank you for this time that we have to come together each month and focus on the future of our county, a county that you have so richly blessed. We ask for your guidance tonight. May you impart your wisdom upon each of us and guide our hearts as we make the decisions that affect the residents of Williamson County. We ask your blessings over the servicemen and women who protect us both here and abroad. We remember and are thankful for those who have fought and died for our freedoms. We remember and are thankful for your Son, who died for us all. In all things, thy will be done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have roll call. If you're here, push your present button and confirm. Okay. Judy Herbert, yours didn't take. Record the roll, Ms. Anderson.
23 present, 1 absent, Commissioner Cheryl Wilson.
All right, heard from Commissioner Wilson, she's under the weather and hope she feels better soon. Next item on the agenda is introduction and acceptance of the Highway Commission minutes. I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Dwight Jones, the motion, Arlene Cook, the second. Any additions or corrections? I see none. If you're in favor of the Highway Commission minutes as presented, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Are you doing highway or county commission? County commission.
I'm sorry, I was doing County Commission, so, everybody in agreement with that? I got ahead of myself. So now we'll do acceptance of the Highway Commission minutes. I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Cook, second. Any corrections, deletions? I see none. If you're in favor of the Highway Commission minutes, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And they're accepted. Couple of things like to, okay. Citizens communications, we have none. So we'll move on to communications and messages. I'd like to thank Sheriff's Deputy Stevens for being here. Also at your desk are the county commission photos that we take in July. So they're there in an envelope, and take those home to enjoy. We also have a late filed resolution that's on your agenda, 10-13-11. And if there's no objections, we'll hear that, the last of appropriations. So I see no objections, so we will hear that. And also I want to give a reminder that in November, we will meet on November the 12th, which is a Tuesday. And November the 11th, being Veterans Day, is a holiday, so we will meet on the 12th. So everybody remember that. Yeah, well, I was going to do it here. Okay. All right, next we got reports of county offices. County Mayor Rogers Anderson.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and County Commissioners. Before I ask Nina to come up and give us a snapshot of the county for another month, From time to time, we have individuals in your commission rank that need to be noted, and just recently, in fact, last Thursday and Friday, a meeting was held in Chattanooga, Tennessee, in which 3 individuals here on the county commission were recognized for their service. So if I could, I'd certainly like to have the following people to stand at your microphone rather than taking up time for here. First of all, Judy Hayes, John Hancock, if you would stand, and Bert Chalfont. These 3 individuals collectively have served the Williamson County Commission for the following amount of years. John Hancock, 31 years as a county commissioner. Judy Hayes, 28 years as a county commissioner. And Bert Chalfont for 28 years as a county commissioner. Each one of these individuals has been recognized at the state level through the County Commission Association, and it's my honor to present each one of them a certificate, and I know you join me as we thank them for a job well done over these many years. 100 years is a lot of years sitting up here, and so we thank those folks. Nina?
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. This month in your package, you have your August budget report. We're tracking along on schedule for this time of year. You have your privilege tax report for the month of August. We had a total collections of $1,758,000. We have 2 reports from the State of Tennessee Comptroller of Treasury's Office that I need to have entered into the minutes that are being submitted to the commission. One is for, let's see, a letter where our 2014 fiscal year budget was approved by the Comptroller's Office. The other letter was approval of our tax anticipation notes for the 2014 year. We had up to $20 million approved. At this time, we only needed to borrow $10 million for the schools. Also reported to the commission was the CT 0253 form. Also in your packet was a synopsis of the fall 2013 bond issue and everything that covers in the general debt and rural debt bond issues. Also tonight we have Sam Cruz with Stevens Incorporated as our financial advisor, and Jeff Oldham as our bond counsel. He's with Bassbury and Sims. So if we have any technical questions this evening that come about, hopefully they can help us. Does anyone have any questions?
Mr. Danner?
Okay.
Okay. I have a couple questions, but they're for the mayor.
Okay.
But Nina, I want to thank you so much for sending out. I saw that you sent it to all the commissioners. Very great explanation of the debt service. That helped me a lot. It cleared some questions up, and I think it's a great document to have as we go forward. So thank you very much for doing that extra work.
You're welcome.
And for providing that. Mayor, I just have a couple questions that I thought that were two questions. One that was brought up at the town hall that we had recently, and just want to give you a chance to speak to that in your own words. And but basically, the question is was asked, what's the tipping point? What's the number, the debt dollar amount where we can't recover, where we're going to have a property tax increase? And I just want to lay out real quick for the people because they can't see this great work that Nina did. But basically, our debt amount is at 462. I'm just going to round up in millions. We are going to go to bond market with 110 million tonight, or it's up for a vote. And then I appreciate we're going to be paying down 49 million. And then she gets a balance of 523 million. And but what's not on this sheet is the 97 million that the schools are going to request with the new construction of the K through 12 campus, really Nolensville campus. And so that would bring us, if all of that got passed, it would bring us to 620 million. So at what point are you uncomfortable, Mayor? And the second question, I'll just go ahead and ask it so you can answer it all together, but what are you going to do? How are you going to lead this county away from a property tax increase?
Thank you, Commissioner. I guess it was last week, we did have a town hall in which several people did attend that were sitting in the room. Commissioner Danner and Commissioner Wilson, who's not here tonight, were present, and they allowed for about an hour and a half people to ask questions in regards to various and sundry questions that came to their mind. And the questions that were directed to me specifically were the county's debt and the very question that Commissioner Danner has asked again tonight. And I appreciate her letting me know last week that she was going to ask that again tonight, and so that allowed me to get some concrete numbers. Nina has prepared and passed out to you through an email late this afternoon that our current debt, direct debt is $462 million. And if you go through with the bond issuance tonight of $110 million, which is really more than a lot of times if you add all the math up, but you've got closing costs, you've got some other things, and we try to get the high side of that. Normally, we won't hit that number. We will be making $49 million worth of debt payments, as indicated. Our debt ratio, property ratio, is 1.48 currently. By doing this, it'll be 1.59. 1.59 is what we were involved in through this last year. So it would go up 0.1 because of this issuance. I think before I try to attempt to answer, and I don't know that I can satisfy Commissioner Danner's question about what is the tipping point, is the word she's used. One of the things that has been brought to our attention, there was a couple of gentlemen that came to see me a couple of months ago wanting us to report also our post-employment benefits other than pensions that we oftentimes do not make reference to in our financial information. It is in our financial statements, it's in our balance sheet, but as all of you know, GASB does not require the county to fund an amount equal to the ARC, and the ARC stands for your annual required contributions. There's two parts to that. One is what we refer to as our unfunded liability amount. This would be into your pension area or into your health insurance. Both of those are a little bit different number. So from this point on, we'll be making reports to our P&I committee, letting them know what those amounts are so that they have a handle on that. We've been reporting by law. We're required to do an evaluation every 2 years, and we have been doing that. Many of you know that a few years ago we made some changes to our health insurance plan that took away some of the information for our future hires so that we didn't continue to have that unfunded liability amount as great as it was. And that's resulted in several $1 million for us. But currently, our annual required contribution is about $34 million that we're required. Again, the law does not require us to report that, only on the expense and liability of your P&L. And then under our pension plan, and looking at the numbers, most everyone here knows that the county employees are under the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement Plan, and that plan runs through the state of Tennessee, and it's extremely well funded, according to our leaders up in Nashville. And currently, our portion of it is the state pension plan, the TCRS, is 95.96 funded. So our portion of it would be about a little over 3%, which results in an annual contribution of $5 million that we've got on our pension plan. So we feel like we're in very good shape. It's certainly always great if you didn't have that debt of doing it, but that is a cost of doing business, and this is a result of so many of the private businesses reporting this out over the course of the year. Finally, Commissioner Danner, I want to bring some other history to trying to answer your question. 10 years ago, a few of you were not sitting here, a few of you were. We had $4.2 billion worth of assessed value. Let that sink in a minute. That's about $14 billion worth of appraised values here in Williamson County. These figures came from Brad Coleman, so I did not put them together. They're a little bit off from our financial statement that's released each year because they're a few months or oftentimes almost a year behind. In 10 short years, I would love to ask each one of you where we are on our assessed value through 60 days ago. To stand up here and make a prediction of what that number is, Commissioner Danner, I'm not qualified to do that. If you would have asked me 10 years ago if we had $4.2 billion in assessed values, where would we be today? Today, we're at $8.6 billion. We've had a 100% plus increase in our assessed values. Now, that's during a time that we had almost 2 years plus of less than desirable times across this country and certainly in this state. Although Williamson County did not feel the brunt of it as some of the other counties, when you have a county that's growing in leaps and bounds like we have been for the last 10 years, 15 years, and the projections are that we're going to grow well over 1 million people by the year of 2040, I just feel a little, I think the word you used a minute ago was some leadership. I think we've demonstrated over the last 10 years that we have been able to manage and provide the services that we've come accustomed to. People are moving here. People are deciding this is where they want to raise their families and work and send their children to school in our public schools. One of the things that I can give you on a historical perspective is what have we done over the last 10 years to show that we've got the backbone to do what we need to do. During this same period of time in Williamson County, we asked our department heads, our other elected officials, our appointed officials, all of our folks inside to toe the line on expenses. Let me recite to you some of the things we've done. You may know this, you may not. Over the last 10 years, operating expenses have been, we've asked and voted and you've approved, a 0 increase, a minus 5% reduction, a 0, 0, 0, 0, a 10% reduction, and another 0. Our operating expenses over the last 10 years have not increased. What have we done in personnel? Our personnel list is a little bit more interesting to me as we started looking at these numbers over the weekend. From 2003, 4, we've grown 169 people in county general. 169 people in the 2 or 3 largest departments that have grown would be your public safety and law enforcement. This body provided SROs to every single school the first part of this year. And the law enforcement community has grown, just try to keep up with our growth totally. But it's a total of 169, and during that period of time, we also opened up another facility in Parks and Recreation. We're emphasizing a lot more part-time people. So a 10-year window, even with the growth numbers we've had this year, which you all approved, over 45 new positions, we've had a total of 169. Our schools, interesting, we've opened, we're 45 schools now. 3 or 4 years ago, we opened 5 schools. In August of 1 year, we opened 5 schools in Williamson County. And our population in the school area has grown from 2,652 to 3,819, 1,167 positions for all of these schools. I can't speak for the schools and their growth. I can speak for the county side that if we can grow 16.9 people every year, I would be absolutely elated, because we certainly have demonstrated we can control the costs on the operating side. But the telltale number to me is the values that I gave, the assessed values, going from 4.2 to over $8 billion worth of new assessed values. I wish I could give you my number. I really do, and I know that's what you're wanting. I think that we can continue to manage our debt. We've said repeatedly that this action that you take tonight, as you know, is a large amount. The schools have indicated they're coming back to us next year for additional schools and additional areas that they want to improve. You're going to approve 12 new teachers tonight. Because of the student base, it's almost 1,000 more kids just since we opened the doors. I can tell you, Commissioner, that I know you'd like for me to put a number there. Then I'm also realistic enough to know what you do with that number when I put it there. And I'm not going to give you that number, but I will tell you that we've managed our resources excellently over the last 10 years. It's not me. It's all of the people here. I think that the public as a general is pleased with the way we do things here. Not totally everyone. I understand that. But for a community, the fastest growing county in the state, to continue to do what we've done, and I can play with numbers as well as anybody, but I'm very pleased with what we got. I wish we didn't have all the debt, but I don't know how to build schools without borrowing the money unless I raise all the property taxes. And when I said that the last time, your email went out that I was setting up precedents for raising the property taxes, and I challenged you on that, and I would challenge you on that today. You know, you all can raise taxes. I don't have anything to do with it, Commissioner. You all set the tax rate. You go on my direction and Nina's direction. We can raise the taxes to pay for all $100 million. That's not good business sense with the interest rate the way it is, but that's your decision, what you have to do. But I appreciate the opportunity for you to ask that question.
I'd like to just follow up on that, if I could.
One quick follow-up.
Mayor, thank you very much for addressing it, and it doesn't go unappreciated, the work that this county commission has done and the leadership that you have provided. I think what I was trying to communicate is that some people are nervous because this debt amount is going to reach, I think, probably a record amount for this county. And this county commission, with your leadership, has raised taxes within this term. And so that's why we're looking, and I'm hoping as we move forward, what I'm looking for and what I think people who elected me are looking for and people at the town hall were looking for is some discernment and some ability to prioritize so that we don't get ourselves in a corner and go, man, we could not afford that $25 million emergency management building. If we'd only made it $2 million or $6 million or $10 million. It's that kind of a corner and that kind of leadership that I think people are looking for. They just want some guidance as to, I know we have to do the schools. The state requires schools, infrastructure, and public safety, but they don't require a lot of other things that we vote yes for. And so I'm looking, and other people are looking for you to look at this commission and say, or your department heads, and say, we cannot afford that this year, or we need to just, that price tag is too high. That's what I'm looking for going forward. And I appreciate, again, the leadership that you provided, and I'm looking forward to going forward.
Mr. Chairman, let me follow one back with her. I don't want to get to going here because we could go all day. I don't think there's anything any more important. I wouldn't want to prioritize borrowing money for schools. Since 1986, I've made a decision when I came on board with two of these people here, that public education would bring us out in Williamson County, and I don't back down from that. I don't always agree with the size and the scope and all of the school buildings. But as our community goes, Commissioner, I hope you understand that there's really nothing more important, and you all have funded it for public safety and law enforcement. I mean, the sheriff does an omen's job with what he's got, and I'm very proud of that, and I can't back down from that. And we need a building that doesn't get flooded or the electricity goes off or we flush the toilets and all the byproducts are setting in that we had to have hazardous control come out and do some of the maintenance that you don't have to agree with me, but I think I am offering that as a solution, that we go out here and build a building that protects all county residents, not just Franklin or just the folks in Fairview all the way over to College Grove. I think we've demonstrated, Commissioner, that we have held expenses. We've grown like nobody's business. It's probably not good English, but I look around this room, we're all a product, probably. There's only one or two of you, including me, that is actually born and raised here. The rest of us moved in here, and everybody wants to move here, and everybody wants to shut the gate. And that's not possible. That's why we move here. It's a great community. But thank you for your questions, Jack.
Thank you. Any further questions for the mayor? I see none. Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Dr. Mike Looney, Director of Schools.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'll keep my remarks brief. All operations are going smoothly. For the last 2 working days, our students and teachers have been off enjoying fall break, but we resume on schedule tomorrow. I won't speak to growth because you have a number of matters before you tonight that deal specifically with growth. Appreciate your support and be glad to answer any questions you have.
Any questions for Dr. Looney? I see none. Thank you, sir. Next, we have the CEO of Williamson Medical Center, Don Webb.
Good evening. We are here tonight to ask for your support on a bond issue that is on the agenda further on, and for a project that we talked about here before this group last year, and we've been this year through the committee cycle talking about our expansion project. We are proposing a $65 million project that would expand surgical services, pharmacy, add a pediatric ER, a pediatric inpatient services, expansion of women's services, all things that we think we need and the community asks us to provide. That bond issue that we were talking about earlier is on the agenda tonight, and we are here to ask your support and would answer any questions that anybody might have.
Commissioner Danner?
Mr. Webb, I just wanted to thank you. I told you this when the meeting started, and I told you I would just bring it up publicly, but I appreciate your letting us ask you so many questions about this project. And thank you for this information that you mailed to us, along with very good frequently asked questions. Are you going to publicize those anywhere or put them up?
They've gone to our board members and to the county commissioners, and we will probably share that internally with our employees and medical staff. We've done some other things that way, but beyond that, we don't have a plan right now.
Okay, well, I very much appreciate them. A lot of the questions sounded like ones that we asked in committee. It doesn't change my vote, because I wish you would borrow the money from somewhere else, but the pictures are beautiful, and I hope that it comes out looks as good as it does here.
Thank you.
Commissioner Barnwell?
Yeah, Mr. Webb, in the things you sent to us, I believe I read somewhere where you were going to borrow 10 million from somewhere else. Where is that somewhere else?
We are looking at generally that it takes the form of equipment leases for a 3 to 5 year period of time, rather than a long-term debt like a bond issue.
Okay.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Webb. Any other reports from county offices? Commissioner Barnwell?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, last week was the annual TCCA conference down in Chattanooga, and one of the things they provided us, which you have on your desk, is a picture, a map of your new district that we did through the reapportionment last year. It was pretty interesting. The Williamson County got some kudos as having done the best job redistricting, which is very amazing considering our growth over the last 10 years. But one of the interesting things of this whole thing is you can go to the state comptroller's website and go to Google Earth and go right down into your district with Google Earth, which was really interesting. They went down to street level in their demonstration to us. So if you're really into that type of stuff, have at it, because it's available through the state website. And that's all I basically had, unless anybody has any questions.
Commissioner Hayes, you don't have a question for Commissioner Barnwell?
No.
Okay. I see none. Commissioner Barnwell, you may share that information with Perry Parrott up in the IT.
Yes,
off-
I'd like to congratulate our IT department. They were the ones that led
Yeah.
us to have this performance of having the best review of our districts in the state with the less chance of being sued of anybody.
Well, I know, I'm proud of that. I was on that committee, and I know he worked extremely hard on that.
Yeah, they
so
did a great job. I compliment Perry and his troops.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Hayes?
I just wanted to make note that you'll find at your desk the notice from the environmental work from our solid waste department. Our environmental department from our solid waste through Nancy Zine has received through Keep America Beautiful the 1,000 Public Participation Award for American Recycle Days. And I think it's very appropriate that we offer our appreciation and congratulations to Laura and Nancy, because not only did we get recognition and an award, but we received a $1,000 check that will go into further programs of the Keep Williamson Beautiful. So I'd like to bring note to that it's worthy of mention, I think.
Okay. And Nancy's in the back, if you would stand and wave, or you're welcome to come up and say something if you want. All right, thank you, Mr. Commissioner Hayes. Next, moving on to elections and appointments. Economic Development Council, citizen representative, filling an unexpired term. Term expires 10/16. Filling a vacancy. The nomination is Travis Anderson. Brandon Ryan and Commissioner Little, the second. Any other nominations? I see none. If you're in favor of Travis Anderson, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And congratulations. Is he here? No. Okay. Very good. Next item on the agenda is the Judge General Sessions, filling unexpired term, expires August 31st, 2014. Resign, Al Nations. We have two nominations here, and it's my understanding we'll need a commissioner to nominate those. So the first one is Lonnie Hoover. Commissioner Jones. We don't need a second. The next one is Ernie Williams. Okay. Are there any other nominations? I see none. So these nominations we will cease with the nominations. Okay. If the commission would like, would you like to hear from these two candidates? Anybody have an objection for that? So we're good there. So we'll go in alphabetical order. Lonnie Hoover, would you like to come up and give us 3 minutes? Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you live.
I can just barely tell you my name in 3 minutes,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman. Good morning, or good afternoon. I already started off on the wrong time of the day. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mayor, members of the County Commission, honored guests, thank you for having me here today. In the old Southern Baptist tradition, I want to start out with a metaphor. Let's assume tonight that instead of voting for judge, you all have the opportunity to fly across the pond. Bert will know what I mean. He's sent many people across the pond over the years. And you're going to be flying on a 747. You're going to be leaving on a heavy out of the Nashville airport. You're going to fly all night long to London, England. And the airline that you have chosen has given you the opportunity to choose one of two pilots to be pilot in command. It's a pretty big responsibility because not only are you going to be on this plane tonight, but your family and many of your friends are going to be on the airplane. And it's going to be a long flight. And so the two pilots that the airline has given you is one named Ernie and one named Lonnie. Now, both of these pilots have been good pilots for close to 30 years. They have a good reputation, never had any problems, do a good job, and by all accounts are great pilots. But there is a difference between the two. The pilot named Ernie, although he's a great pilot, well-respected, well-liked, he's never flown as pilot in command, not one day in his life. And some of you know that I am a pilot, and so I'm using some of these terms here. Pilot in command, of course, is the pilot in the left seat. He's the one in charge of the airplane. The pilot, Ernie, is a great pilot, been a pilot for 30 years, but never flown as pilot in command. He's never commanded the aircraft, not one day in his life. The pilot, Lonnie, has flown not only as pilot in command numerous times, but has actually flown this 747 Heavy on thousands of occasions over the last 21 years all total. He's flown thousands, tens and thousands of people across the pond. He's never crashed and burned. He's never had a close call. He's never had a complaint. He satisfies his customers, and they always get there on time, especially on time, and they get there in good shape. Now we get back to reality. Tonight you have two candidates in front of you, Ernie and myself. We've both practiced law for about 30 years. We both have good, solid, robust law practices. But you've got to decide which one is going to be the General Sessions judge and fill out the unexpired term for the next 10 and a half months. And this is a very important decision because General Sessions is not the General Sessions from 40 years ago where you didn't even have to be a lawyer and you were called a justice of the peace. General Sessions is now a very robust court. Last week we handled on one docket 155 people on the criminal docket on one day. The next day about the same, about 150. On the civil docket we handle about 200 people or more. On the traffic docket anywhere from 100 to 400 people. And then we have orders of protection, search warrants, we have a budget of hundreds of thousands of dollars and a number of employees to administer. Being a General Sessions judge is a demanding job. And you have before you today two candidates, one with tremendous experience and one with no experience as a judge. I have been a judge since 1993, starting out as the first juvenile referee in Williamson County and served there. I sent you my resume, so I'm not going to go into all that detail. I'm sure most of you have read the packet. But then appointed by this commission in 95, won the election in 96, I'm going to get one of these dates wrong, won the election in 98. And I continued to serve on through 2006. Since 2006, I've served as the designated special judge in Division II on a number of occasions, dozens of occasions, handling thousands of cases, again in civil, criminal, traffic, orders of protection, and search warrants. I can fly this plane to its destination. How much time do I have, Mr. Chairman?
So need to wrap it up.
Need to wrap it,
Need to
okay.
wrap it up.
I can get this plane to its destination. But I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts, and I'm sorry the time has just flown by. There are two members of this commission that know me very well because they've seen me in action in court on numerous occasions. One is Travis Hawkins. Travis has seen me handle many, many hundreds of cases. And the other is Judy Herbert. Judy has seen me in court probably longer and more times. She's probably seen me handle thousands of cases over the years. And I would invite you to ask their honest opinion. I will live or die by what they tell you. I would be greatly honored for your vote tonight, and if I am chosen to head up Division II General Sessions, I promise, first, complete cooperation with the Division I judge. Secondly, I will do an honest and fair job. I know the law, and I will apply the law even-handedly to all citizens of Williamson County, and I promise you, I'll do a good job for you every single day. I hope I can count on your support, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Commissioner Williams?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I know you don't like being set in this position because I've been there before. You have to choose between people. And what I want to say, I'm not flying an airplane. What I do want to say is, briefly, most of you know me, but I want to give you a little background on myself, and so you can, as we all go into public office, we are what our life experiences have made us. And that's just the way it is. Briefly, when I came back from Vietnam. I was a sergeant in the United States Marine Corps. I got out of the Marine Corps and I started undergraduate school. I had a wife and a child. I worked my way through undergraduate school. I worked my way through law school. And I have spent 33 years giving my life to the practice of law. I have served as a United States Attorney. I have been cleared twice in my life for top secret clearances. So I understand what it takes to be a judge. I have appeared before more judges than I even care to count. Being as U.S. Attorney, I appeared in more federal district courts than I care to even talk about, and even after I left the U.S. Attorney's office, and in charge of major decisions, in charge of the federal grand jury, which if you don't handle it right, you can ruin people's lives in a heartbeat. That brings me to the second part, and that's to the legal end of it. The legal end of it is brought down to basically two issues: the litigants and the people that are in handling the litigation, or the judges, the clerks, the sheriff's office, the police department, that type of thing. Part of my decision to insert my name as an interim judge, and I will not be running for election. There are 3 people in this room today, including Mr. Hoover, and 2 other people that are going to be running for that position, Mr. Steve Westbrooks, Mr. Tom Taylor. And one was that I'd give them the opportunity, all 3, to run on an even keel. That was one decision. But the other decision actually came from sitting on this county commission. I have served on the county commission, will be 11 years in January if I were to stay that long. My wife has served on the county commission 10 years plus. I, like everybody in this room, have suffered joy, which I think one of the greatest joys of my life was watching my youngest son born, where I saw him turn from blue to pink when he took that first breath. I wasn't there for my oldest because they wouldn't let you in the room at that time. The biggest tragedy I suffered was the death of my wife, which was sudden, and many of you knew her. But sitting on this commission, what I have seen in the last several years, especially since Judge Andre defeated Judge Hoover in the last election, the dissension that has been within the General Sessions courtroom. This is the promise that I make. I promise that I will treat the litigants with response or respect, not be condescending, not rebuke them, not do all those things that work with that. The litigants deserve that. I will do my best to work with Judge Andre. In fact, it's my intention, if she will, to ask Judge Andre to swear me in if I'm picked as a nomination by this commission. I will work with the clerks. I will work with the sheriff's office. I will work with the police departments. It will be my job, and my goal is this: to make a smooth-running county General Sessions courtroom a judiciary that the county can have respect for, not dissension. And whoever takes that position, whether it be Mr. Hoover, Mr. Taylor, or Mr. Westbrooks, I hope that they take over a position that is running smooth and well greased, and they feel the pressure to make it continue on. I thank you for consideration. I have enjoyed thoroughly serving with all of you on this commission. Can't say we've always agreed, but I always say if everybody agreed with me, everybody want to marry my wife. And that would just create all kinds of problems. So I would appreciate your consideration, and I will abide by your decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to read the first name of the individuals. We'll go in alphabetical order. And at that time, I'll read the first name, ask for a show of hands. We'll take a show of hands, count those. Then I'll read the second name, ask for a show of hands, count those. If it ends in a tie, we will continue on up to the fourth tie. And of course, my information here counts 3 or more, so we'll just keep going until we get one. So, you ready to vote? Yes. 13. Well,
I thought it was supposed to be 12.
13.
We have,
Yeah, majority votes 13.
okay. I thought,
As defined in your rules, majority vote is
Okay.
13 votes.
I thought there was a state statute that indicated that it would only take 12. Okay, never mind.
All right, the first nomination I have is Lonnie. All in favor, signify by raising your hand. 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 6. Okay. Next nominee is Ernie. Signify by raising your hand. 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So, how many? Plus me, 15. All right. So, former Commissioner Williams, congratulations. You're the nominee, and we appreciate your service to this county, and appreciate your service to this county commission and the constituents, your constituents in the 9th district, and all that. And I regret to inform you, you're no longer a county commissioner.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I understand that. I intend to, if permission granted, I would like to at least be able to sit here for this rest of this meeting. But I do want to, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, and I told, I think it was Greg earlier, that I have mixed emotions about, because I have become attached to this body. And even though we haven't always agreed, you do have to respect the time and effort that everybody puts in. And as I've mentioned at the podium, and which it's not natural for me to stand at that podium up there, but as I mentioned, I will do my very best, as I said, and it's my intention to turn over, with Judge Andre's help and working with the clerks and everyone we talked about, a smooth running machine. so that whoever is elected and for the next September, they can take off, and I will kindly walk off into the sunset and finish my legacy with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you again so much. All right, moving on. There's no unfinished business, new business, there's nothing, oh, I'm sorry, consent agenda. All we have is the notaries. I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Little,
Hayes.
Hayes the second. Is it on the agenda, Ashley? The notaries, yeah.
The
All right.
consent agenda
Yeah,
is loaded.
yeah, consent agenda. All right, if you're in favor of the consent agenda, signify by pushing your yes button and confirm. Okay. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
Twenty-two yes, 0 no.
Yes.
Sworn in yet, can he still function as a commissioner for this evening?
He didn't vote. He's been removed. He's not voting.
Okay.
Yeah, according to council. No,
Okay.
he's not elected, so, yeah.
Has been removed from the voting.
yes,
It's a vacant
yeah.
position.
All right, consent agenda passes. Now we get down to here. Our first resolution, Resolution 10-13-1, resolution appropriating $664,798 within the 2013-2014 general purpose school operating budget for additional teachers from undesignated fund balance. Commissioner Barnwell?
Second.
Proper motion, Commissioner Little, the second. School Board, 11 yes, 0 no. Education Committee,
7-4-0 against.
Budget Committee,
5 yes, 0 no.
explanation, Commissioner Barnwell.
Yeah, I'll take this, this is we're projecting, we've got 160 more students than we actually projected when we projected, I believe, 1,100 for this year. So our growth has been a little bit higher than anticipated, and these are the funds necessary to provide us with the teachers to meet these requirements. Not all these teachers will be required at once, but I think the projections are we could use these up as the year goes along. You'll notice that it's not a full funding of a whole year teacher position. It's only for like a 9-month period. So any more questions, I'll ask Dr. Looney to come help me out.
All right, any questions? Commissioner Hester?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was wondering what the school enrollment currently is, please.
I think it's 33,916, Dr. Looney. Is that it? 33,916.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Any other discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 10-13-1, signify by pushing your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10-13-3, resolution amending the 2013-2014 Sheriff's Office budget for state grant funds remaining at the end of fiscal year 2012-2013 in the amount of $14,537.70. Commissioner Ford?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Cook, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
Was 6-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Ford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. These are grant funds that we received last fiscal year that were not expended during that time frame, and we just want to use that money this year.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 1013-3, signify by pushing your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson. Resolution passes. Resolution 1013-4, resolution appropriating and amending the 2013-14 Williamson County Sheriff's Office budget by $1,300 for the purchase of tactical equipment and other related law enforcement purposes. Revenues to come from donations. Commissioner Ford?
Move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Cook, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
6-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Ford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We received donations from Independence High School, Centennial High School, and the Tennessee Bar Association that were designated for the Sheriff's Department, and we'd like to accept those and thank them for their donations.
All right. Any discussion? Push your button. Okay.
Is the mayor, is there anything we can draw up that send out on a letterhead or something? The sheriff's getting a lot of donations, and I think it's wonderful. I wished it was something we could give. I mean, obviously not money back because we want the money, but a letter of appreciation that we can hand out, not necessarily with the sheriff's department, but anybody that can get donations, that just show our appreciation for what they do. And
Let me, Commissioner, Mr. Chairman, I'm sure there's something we can do, but I think the sheriff, this is really a question that ought to go to him.
Okay.
He does an outstanding job, and I'm sure he appreciates this, but the reason I ask him up here is that many of you may not know, he's not just working here in Williamson County. He's securing a lot of rolling stock from other states. Now, you've approved some of them, but I'm very proud of what our sheriff has built up over in the warehouse.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioner, I will work with the mayor, and we'll be glad to get a letter out. Believe me, I thank these people every time they give money. I thank them, and he's talking, just so you'll know, in the Beasley building. I would welcome any of you to come over and look into the building. There's probably over $2 million worth of equipment over there, and county taxpayers have not paid a dime for it. Everything's either been donated or we've bought it through the revenue sharing of drug funds. But we will get letters out.
Very good. Thank you. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of 1013-4, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 1013-6, resolution appropriating and amending the 2013-2014 library budget by $7,500. Revenues to come from miscellaneous donations. Commissioner Barnwell.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Langston, the second. Library Board.
6-4-0 against.
Budget Committee.
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Barnwell.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is a donation from one of our wonderful Friends organization to help us purchase books and other items for the library system within Williamson County. Very much needed and very much appreciated.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 1013-6, signify by pushing your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 1013-8, a resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $90,800,000 in aggregate principal amount in one or more series of general obligation bonds of Williamson County, Tennessee, making provision for the issuance, sale, and payment of said bonds, establishing the terms thereof and the disposition of proceeds therefrom, and providing for the levy of taxes for the payment of principal of premium, if any, and interest on the bonds. Let's see here.
Commissioners Whitmer, Wilson, Smith, and Chalfant.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Little. And second was Chalfant. And this went through public health. 6 in favor, 0 against. All right. Tax study,
4 for, 1 against.
property committee,
6 for, 1 against.
budget committee,
5 for, 0 against.
explanation. Education vote on it today? Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
For, 1 against, 1 abstain.
4, 1 against, 1 abstain. Okay. All right. Commissioner Little?
Yes, this
Wanna
is
address
the actual bond issuance that we have, we did the intent to fund, and we have heard the sheet that was sent out in the packet covers what all it was going for. I refer any more questions, I guess, to Mayor Anderson or Ms. Nina.
All right. Commissioner Ryan?
I have a quick question for Nina regarding this, or for the mayor. It's a relatively simple one, but just educate me a little bit on how the bond or the debt service works. And Nina, I noticed on both of these resolutions for the bonds, the first year, for instance, with this one, we're going to be paying an interest of about 1.4 million, but nothing on principal. Is that typical? And again, this is just trying to educate me in terms of how these things work. Are these bond payments typically structured in that way in terms of that we're not paying anything towards principal in the first year?
Yes, typically it is, especially when you borrow at mid-year. You would have that one interest payment and then start your principal
after that?
payments.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? Commissioner Chalfant?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I need to read into the record, because I'm a trustee on the board of Williamson Medical Center, I may have an indirect conflict of interest in the resolution about to be voted. However, I declare that my argument and my vote answer only to my conscience and to my obligation to my constituents and the citizens of this body represents.
Thank you. Commissioner Little's next. There's several of us that have these statements, if you'll read yours.
Yes, because my spouse is an employee of Williamson Medical Center, I may have an indirect conflict of interest in the resolution about to be voted. However, I declare that my argument and my vote answer only to my conscience and my obligation to my constituents and the citizens this body represents.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith?
Because I'm Executive Director of Williamson Medical Center Foundation, I may have an indirect conflict of interest in the resolution about to be voted. However, I declare that my argument and my vote answer only to my conscience and to my obligation to my constituents and the citizens this body represents.
All right. Thank you, sir.
I just needed to ask, I'm on the foundation board. But that is not the regular voting board. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay. And I'm next. Because I am a trustee on the board of Williamson Medical Center, I may have an indirect conflict of interest in the resolution about to be voted. However, I declare that my argument and my vote answer only to my conscience and to my obligation to my constituents and the citizens this body represents. So, all right. We're ready to vote?
If you would ask each of them to sign.
Yeah, if you'll sign this document and turn it into the clerk, or bring it up to me after the meeting and I'll get it to them. Ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 10-13-8, signify by pushing your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 1 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10-13-9, resolution appropriating and amending the 2013-14 assessor's budget by $4,636.30 for educational incentive salary supplements, revenues to come from state funds. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Mr. Dwight Jones, the second. Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation.
Yes, these are incentive supplements from continuing education that the state gives them, and the money's already been received from the state.
Very good. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 10-13-9, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10-13-10, a resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $19,400,000 in aggregate principal amount in one or more series of county district school bonds of Williamson County, Tennessee, making provision for the issuance, sale, and payment of said bonds, establishing the terms thereof and the disposition of proceeds therefrom, and providing for the levy of taxes for the payment of principal of premium, if any, and interest on the bonds. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Barnwell? Second? All right. What committees does this go? Education Committee? Can't find the end of my thing. Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
All right. Explanation, Commissioner Little.
Yes, this is the rural debt portion of the bond issue that was on, the breakdown was on the sheets that were sent out in the packet.
All right. Commissioner Hester?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to say that I am more comfortable with renovation, repair, improvement, and equipping of schools mostly be done through the school fund balance. However, I do appreciate the needs that are represented here tonight. Thank you.
Any other discussion? I see none. Ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 10-13-10, signify by pushing your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
Okay, 22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2013-14 Election Commission budget by $1,539.61, revenues to come from state grant funds. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval. Second.
Commissioner Cook, the second. Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Little.
Yes, this is grant funds used to purchase a computer printer and software for the election office.
All right. Any further discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of 10-13-11, signify by pushing your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10-13-2, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into an interlocal agreement with the City of Fairview for automatic response of fire, rescue, and EMS services. Commissioner Ford?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Ricky Jones, second. Law Enforcement Committee?
6-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Ford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an interlocal agreement with Fairview that will provide some fire rescue and EMS services.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 1013-2, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution amending Rule 9 of the Rules, Regulations, and Procedures of the Williamson County Board of Commissioners concerning compensation of commissioners. Commissioner Little,
Move for approval.
Commissioner Barnwell, the second. Rules Committee,
It was 5-4-0 against.
okay. Budget Committee,
Was 3-4 and 2 against.
all right. Explanation, Commissioner Little.
Yes, this was requested by the mayor, and it is to increase the commission pay from $500 to $750 to go into effect after the 2014 election, so it doesn't affect anyone here unless they are reelected. And it has been since 2006, I think, when it was last raised.
8 years, whatever.
It was
that
8 years ago, yes.
All right. Any discussion? Commissioner Hayes?
I am very honored to serve in this group and have been for some time. I don't think a single person here is serving because of the compensation, nor do I think they would continue to serve or decide not to serve because of a lack of it. I really do appreciate the mayor's interest and his concern for our welfare, and he is very generous to want this to take place. But out among my constituents and all through the county, I'm hearing nothing but frustration and aggravation and embarrassment about what's going on in Washington. And I think the fact that if Washington had the kind of leadership that we have in our county with our department heads and our mayor and our leadership, I believe we could get the job done with this body and everybody working there. I sense that if we could take their benefits and their pay away for a period of time, maybe there would be more action in Washington. But since that's not in our power, I do say that I appreciate the fact this is being very transparent. It's not being hidden in a large stack of bills for others not to see. Just because I feel like that we're doing this as a public service and not as politics, I'm going to oppose this personally. But I do feel like that the work is worthwhile. We're all not politicians, we're public servants, and I'm so glad to be among you as a public servant.
All right. Any other discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 1013-5, signify by pushing your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
11 yes, 11 no.
Resolution fails. All right. Resolution 1013-7, resolution requesting the county road name Doug Hill Road, and that's spelled D-O-U-G, revert back to its original name, Doug Hill Road, which is spelled D-U-G, on the Williamson County road system. Commissioner Jones?
Move for approval.
I like Doug Hill best.
I'm going to vote for Doug Hill. And Commissioner Dwight Jones, the second. Please give us an explanation.
We had a constituent contact us. In deeds years ago, it was spelled D-U-G. It was actually Doug out of a hill from Dixon County, and Dixon County Commission changed they changed the name back to D-U-G, and he wants the deeds to be with the correct name. So we want to get back to D-U-G Road.
Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Doug Hill Road, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Also, I'd like to thank Commissioner Arlene Cook for the candy on the, at our desk tonight. She's doing her part to fatten us up, so we appreciate that. And Commissioner Little?
Yes, I meant to point this out earlier, but on some of the resolutions tonight, you saw on the donations that there were several lines grouped together, and that comes from a request from this commission that to lessen the number of items that we have to vote on, to combine some of those, and our county attorney has determined that we can do that. And so we saw that tonight on 2 of them, and we will be seeing that further on more down the road.
Very good. So, next time you see your county attorney, thank him for that. All right, if you'll turn in your conflict of interest statement to me or to the secretary, and I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. No, oh, one more reminder, we'll meet on November the 12th, which is a Tuesday next month. See you then. Thank you.